Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for the month of May Tarot Oracle reading. And Cancer, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Cancer, we all have a little bit of that sign somewhere in our birth chart. If you do have your birth chart, which house is it in? That's where this will show up for you. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin. Okay, hold on a second. I got to adjust my cat. My cat is here. She wants to, Stella loves the readings. Her job is to sit on my lap and purr. All right, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the third dimensional world. And this energy we're talking about, this particular card is about making money. Now, you could have all of the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. Pentacles are generally about lifestyle. But this particular card is the only card in the deck where the person is actually pounding out an actual coin. So literally making money. And this is saying that you're very focused on that aspect of your life at this time. You've got, you may have started a project and maybe on the second pentacle and have 6 to go, or you have already completed 6, you're on the 7th and only have 1 more to go. Just depending on your situation. And that is the underlying energy for the reading. And then we have, this is the underlying energy for the internal forces. So the internal forces are what you have control over. They come from within, and you can tell it's something from within because the questions you're asking will be like, what if, IF. Internal forces. What if I do this and they do that? What if I say this and they say that? That type of energy. The woulda, shoulda, couldas of life that can keep us in a thinking loop. And so quite often when we're feeling insecure within the internal forces, we have a tendency to overthink things. And that's what this card is about. This card is about putting your mind to rest here and taking the opportunity to meditate and pray so that you can get in touch with the feeling rather than the thinking part of yourself, so that you can reach your heart's desires and get in tune with your heart. And you can do this through intuition. Now, the swords represent the element of air. Are you going to settle down, Stella? The swords represent the element of air, and the swords are, basically about your mental intelligence and the discipline of your mind. We do have 3 swords here. We have the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is formed by the time you're around 6 or 7 years of age. The subconscious mind is basically from the, when you're a baby, and it's the thoughts of the people that were in charge of your care, as well as the environment that you were in. So when we're babies, you think about a newborn infant and you think about how much they learn in the first year alone. They're like sponges. They just absorb their environment. And so the subconscious mind is heavily imprinted on us. When we tend to get triggered, stressed out, we rely on the subconscious mind a lot, and it's probably the most unreliable because it's not really our thoughts. We don't really have memory. Most of us can't remember when we're a baby for sure, and then we start having memory around the age of 6 or 7. So the subconscious mind is really what your parents would, or whoever was in charge of your care would do in a situation. And we hang on to that well into our adulthood. The unconscious mind is the soul and the spiritual needs. And this is talking about, most people would say, yes, I'm a human being and I have a soul. But from the soul's perspective, you are a soul traveling in a human body, and this is your vehicle to navigate through the planet. And this energy is talking about, the needs of the soul. And if the needs of the soul are not met, then the unconscious mind becomes very loud and starts arguing with you. And so then the next mind we have represented here is your conscious mind. And that's what you have a handle on. I went to the store yesterday. I went and I purchased these 3 items. They cost this much money. I went home and I cooked supper. And you have a total memory of that. And you're conscious of doing it. So when you can have this energy moving together and be coherent and plug this into your heart's desires, then you have a situation where you're actually going after your authentic desires from your heart. And the best way to do that is to quiet the mind through, your mind is supposed to work for you, not against you. So if it's, taking control, you need to take the control back. And the best way to do that is through meditation and prayer. So this person is in a church, looks like, and they have put their mind to rest. Here we have the stained glass window has the word Pax on it, P-A-X, and this is representing peace, peace of mind. So you may feel like you need to take a rest, you need some peace of mind, something's going on and you're trying to come to a decision possibly, and you're having a hard time overthinking it. We have the 2 of wands. So the wands in tarot represent the element of fire and passion. So it's about taking action and with passion. And this is talking about the wands are made of wood. Wood fuels fire and burns bright, basically. So this is talking about passion, and also the wands are from, they're from a tree, and that represents deep ancestral roots as well as the offshoots representing descendants. Now, this person is standing at the turret of their castle, and this globe in their hand is saying, I have the world in my hands. But they live in a town that's got 5,000 people in it, so they recognize, hey, I'm a big fish in a little pond. If I want to expand my horizons, I'm going to have to probably change location or, expand in some way. Now, sometimes this can represent the energy of, it's like a big fish in a little pond energy. So I often think of this being like an entrepreneur who wants to franchise their business, maybe set another location up, or maybe expand in their business in another way. If it's about love, it might be wanting to become a couple and maybe expand that energy, like by starting a family, getting married, settling down and starting a family. So it's something you're passionate about and you want to expand rather than contract. And then we have, and this is how you feel, this is talking about your self-identity and image at this time. And then we have the 2 of Pentacles. And this is talking about how you feel about your abundance. And so this energy, he's juggling 2 options here. And the Pentacles, quite often this can mean, this is representing someone who's multitasking, who's very busy. And so addressing that first, when we multitask, it's a real good skill to have. Having said that, we have to be careful not to be multitasking to the point where we're just busy and then we get busier and busier. Like that's what this waves and the ships in the background represent. You notice the wave is smaller with a smaller ship and then it gets bigger and bigger. And sometimes we can end up being, busy to be busy, if that makes sense. And so this is saying, be careful how much you do multitask, because it can lead to quantity over quality. And then you just end up being in a loop where you're doing things twice because you have to do things over again. Also, this can represent juggling between, like let's say maybe you have 2 jobs to make ends meet, or you're juggling between possibly you're going to school and you also have you're working to pay for it, that type of energy. This can just be, your lifestyle and your business life, that juggling between the 2, family and work. The thing that this card is saying that's the most important is, juggle your options, but never juggle your morals. And that's in how you feel about your abundance. Like you're juggling, you feel like you have potential here, but you're doing a lot of juggling to make it work. And then we have the Emperor. So the Emperor is in the position of communication from early life. So you may have been, this is representing a strong male, alpha male energy. This energy is talking about very high level of performance. The Emperor is basically, in tarot, the Emperor, it represents someone who has the qualities of all of the 4 kings in the minor arcana, because he's had so much life experience. And he's managed to stay on his path and acquire, through life experience, he's acquired this ability to have a lot of answers to a lot of questions. So this is generally someone who is very well respected. He's very, whatever field he's in, he would be in a position of authority in that field, at the top of his game, that type of energy. He wears his armor underneath his robe so that he can be ready for an opportunity, or if he has to get up and battle about something, he will do so. And he's like a real alpha male energy, although this all the characters in the tarot can represent, like the male figures can represent a female in her masculine energy, as well as the female figures can represent a male in their feminine energy. But this would be a very, very masculine feminine, because this is like alpha male energy. And the Emperor is usually someone that people go to for advice, and he usually is knowledgeable about business, about life in general, just someone that's well respected in the community. Could be representing a mentor, or someone who's and definitely he has authority of some sort. Like if he's working as a politician, he would be someone that has authority to make rules and laws, that type of energy. All right, and then we have, so this is your communication from early life. So you may have had a father who is in a position like that, that was like, I'm the man of the house, this is my castle, you will do as I say. So this energy can be quite controlling, and vary at times. And you ask, it's like kind of being raised in the 50s and 60s, where you say to your parents, but why? I don't understand why I can't do that. And they just say, because I said so. And you just shut up, because that's the end of that. There's no discussion, that type of energy. So we have the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands is talking about having been in some sort of competition or battle, and you have been successful and have been designated the leader. This energy is, you're the leader because you were able to rein in your emotions and discipline your mind. This energy that we're talking about here, if you can, discipline your mind so that you make strong choices, and not impulsive ones, basically. And so she has reined in her emotions, and she is definitely, like, look how proud she is. She has definitely won, and she's leader. This could be something like, it could represent having a battle with someone. That could be a legal battle or an actual battle, who knows. It also could represent, maybe there was a position at work, a promotion that a lot of people went for, and she was the successful one. It could represent like a sporting event, and the winning goal kind of energy, being able to keep your shift together so that you performed at the utmost level. These people in the background, some of them look a little bit disgruntled, but they all have to admit, no, this person deserved to win. They came out as a leader. So it's talking about bringing those leadership skills that you have out to the surface through discipline of your mind and also of your emotions. And this is talking about the emotional foundation you're in now. So that's really good, because it's saying that you do see yourself as a leader and worthy of having whatever it is that you've been working towards. It looks like you've been hard at work, focused on this kind of energy here, your career, that type of energy. And then we have creativity, romance, and children. And this is talking about, this is the sun is the happiest card in the deck. This is, when the sun card comes out, it lights up the entire reading, and it sheds light on the situation. This is also representing God's energy, and that this card is representing that you are a child of God, that you're meant to be happy, carefree. This is, this young child is on this pony, and look at, there's no saddle, there's no reins, there's no fear, and they are carrying this heavy banner, which represents the, you know, your destiny in life, and all of the sunflowers are turning with the sun. So it's saying that as long as you follow your destined path, that you will, you know, you'll be happy. Like it's, you're, you know, not every second of every minute of every day, but generally that your life will be successful in this way. And then we have the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups, so the knights would deliver messages far and wide for the king, queen, and the rest of the court. They would travel from kingdom to kingdom, because back in those days, the only form of communication, long distance, that they had was this. And so this energy, each of them has an element, and this is the knight in shining armor. So this is the one that you read about in the romance novels, the you know, in the movies. This is the one that, you know, they're coming in with a solid offer of love, and they're doing it with class, and they mean what they're saying. It's that type of energy. Someone like the prince that you always admire, that type of energy. So this is some sort of communication coming in. And as I said, in the old days, the only way they really had to communicate long distance was by horse, and then it would be in person. But these days we could communicate in so many ways. We have instant communication. So it could be a phone call, a text message, perhaps you get an email, or it could be something that arrives in the mail, an invitation maybe to an event, or you know, a card, whatever that is. It could be flowers delivered to your door, that type of energy. Also, you might be on social media and get a message. Maybe you see an event posted there and you go to it, and then you run into this person and whoa, sparks fly, and the rest is history. That kind of energy. Also, when it comes to communication and information, it's a really good idea to pay attention to the top of the pyramid, like what's happening at the top with the leaders of the country, what's going on with them, what's going on in the world, and the trends. If you just take even 5 minutes a day it can be painful to watch the news. Make sure you get a good source. I like to watch the mainstream news, and then I like to watch my favorite podcasters on YouTube to get the, you know, their take on the story. I find it very interesting to see what's going on in the world. It gives you some clarity maybe to your situation, or sometimes, you know, it'll show you what the trends are, and that can be really, really helpful in marketing and business, etc. So yeah, some information is coming in, some sort of communication. Someone has their eye on you and they want to offer you, maybe ask you out for a date, or if you are already in a relationship, this can represent taking it to the next level, you know, like a proposal, or it can sometimes mean like even if you are in a relationship, like reigniting it kind of energy, like taking the time to, you know, have a date with your wife or your husband, that type of energy. And so this is the internal forces. You do have control over the internal forces. You know, you can't really control what happens in the external forces, because that's other people's. You can't control what they say and do and how they feel. But you can control your response or your reaction. So it's always better to respond to energy than to react to it. And that's where this discipline of the mind comes in and is so important. All right, so the bottom of the deck, we're going to take the energy of the external forces next. And we have the the Page of Pentacles. So the pages would work for the king and queen when they were younger. So this is someone that would generally be maybe, I'll put it here, that would be 7 to 14 years of age generally, depending on how mature they were. You have to remember that back in the old days, people had about a half a life expectancy what we do now. So they would work very young, and these would the pages would come from the surrounding area, like from the upper class families, and they would learn the ropes at the palace, and their job would be to run communication within the palace walls, basically, and run tasks and errands. And if they were really good at it, they might even be considered for knighthood when they are old enough at 21 to be able to be a knight. And this energy is saying there's some information coming in about pentacles. Now, this could be about this project that you work on, or maybe you don't have to juggle anymore because we've got the happy card here. Maybe there's some good news coming in about some sort of communication coming in about pentacles. And we have a tower coming in. So the tower is representing the energy of a reality check coming in. So basically, the tower energy can be talking like it's all. Well, quite often it feels very sudden, but your intuition may have been whispering to you for the last however long. You need to take a look at this. And you don't listen. So then the universe gets the frying pan out, whacks you over the head, and you're like, that hurt. Yeah, it hurt, but it's going to hurt way more if you don't listen. You need to take a look at this. There's something serious going on in the background, and you're not paying attention. But you still don't get it. So then the 2x4 comes out, and then lightning has to strike. And so it's kind of like lightning has struck the tower of this castle. These people are falling out, and it's in flames. So now this is something that's going to have to be rebuilt because it's gone to this level. And there's two people falling out of this tower, and one of them looks totally shocked, and the other one looks like, dang, I should have looked after this when I had the chance. And this, unfortunately, is in your your commitments, partnerships, and marriage. So this has to do with your significant other partner. There's some sort of tower happening there. And so quite often this can represent like the energy of a third party involvement or something like that. We'll keep going and see what's going on here, Cancer. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is good to see after this tower. This is good news for you, Cancer. Yay. So the Wheel of Fortune represents the energy of the wheel is turning in your favor. Your fortune is changing. So this is talking about this happiness is now coming in. So all this juggling energy and feeling like you're a small fish or a big fish in a small pond, and like you're working towards it, but I just get the feeling like you're working really hard and maybe don't have that much time, because this is representing your schedule, your day-to-day routine, that kind of energy. And there's been something going on in your significant other relationship. Now this represents marriage in romance, but the cups can also be about something you love to do or be. So if you have a business partner or that type of, something to do with business or that, because it's there's a lot of work, there's a lot of effort being put into work here, and like staying in the game, that type of energy. And maybe wanting to expand, and maybe you're waiting to hear about some pentacles. Maybe you've approached an emperor and you want backing on a project, and now you're getting the information. And the tower sometimes, like, because it's in this position, you might have a business partner, and this could say that now you have a new one instead, and there could be some energy there, we don't know yet. But the Wheel of Fortune here is talking about that things are now turning like in your favor. This is representing the past, the present, and the future coming together. The Wheel of Fortune is representing, synchronicity. So it's presenting like this is the now with all of there's actually 3 wheels coming together, and they synchronize to bring you serendipitously what you want, or better than what you thought you wanted. And so the wheel is turning in your favor. And on this wheel, on one of the 3 wheels, are actually the Hebrew letters for the name of God. And that adds up to tetragrammaton. And now tetragrammaton is a geometric symbol representing unity and balance in all ways. And so this is talking about the perfect order of God's plan. And I feel like this is saying with this card here that whatever you've been working on is part of God's plan. And sometimes when there's hardships in that and we have to be competitive and be juggling and all that energy, it can say that it's because we have lessons to learn so that when we get to the next level, we're prepared for it. And so this could represent, this is in transition. So this is talking about it's time to make this transition of moving into this happy energy rather than this work energy, which would probably be a relief to you to hear. Yeah, this card quite often comes up with this card. And this is talking about, the Three of Wands is talking again about wanting to expand. But quite often this card, this person is standing on the precipice of change and he's looking into the distant horizon there. And now that this reality check has hit, he's like, man, I want to move on. Like, this has gotten to the point where, like, I don't have a turret to stand on anymore because lightning hit it. And, you know, is this a hint that I need to do something different? Probably. And so he's looking into the distant horizon and there's ships sailing by and like this water, I know it looks like this could be sand, but it's just because the sun is shining light on this, saying, hop on one of those and go on an adventure. You deserve it. And so the reality check is always uncomfortable for anyone involved, and it always seems to come like out of nowhere at the worst opportune time. But this is saying this tower has propelled you forward, and quite often this card for me represents someone that was in a couple and now they're moving forward as a single person. So that could be the case here. Quite often this does represent divorce and in a relationship, and it could be because someone was in a third party involvement. Now, if that's not the truth of your situation, this cup of love could be about a business again, something you love to do or be, and maybe you have had to end your relationship with a business partner or some sort of energy like that. And you're moving on for sure, and it looks like you're moving on as a single person. So if there is someone else that you, like after this has happened, it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess I may as well move on. And your fortune is turning, and perhaps there is someone coming into your life eventually that's going to make you feel happier. Or you could have met someone before this happened and you've made the choice to end the relationship. You know, it just take it however it is for you. And the Hierophant is here. So the Hierophant is represent justice. So some judgment has been called on the spiritual realm, and that's when that tower hit. And now the Wheel of Fortune is turning, and you've made a decision to move on for sure. There's some big transition. This is transition happening, and now this is about higher learning. When you've learned what you learned from this tower, it's like, okay, it's time to move on. And it also could be some information that came in about some pentacles that you've been waiting for. And so the Hierophant is responsible for bringing justice down to earth from the spiritual realm. And so he's got his hand in the form of a blessing. So this is showing that when this tower hit, it might have been very uncomfortable. It may have held a lot of truths and energy that was really disturbing for you, really sad, that type of energy. Having said that, it was information you needed to know so that you could make a strong choice to move on. And you have, like, you've decided, I'm going to at least move on. This card quite often can talk about changing location, just as this one can. So we have two cards around that. So this, you know, it could be that you want to actually physically change where you live, or sometimes it could just represent changing your position in life, you know, the way you think or the direction that you're headed in. The Hierophant represents, on a religious level, someone like is because it comes from the spiritual realm. Like it's justice not just in the physical but also in the spiritual realm. So then the unconscious mind is satisfied as well as the subconscious mind, and that's from all the meditation and prayer. Like when you can get that working together and plug that into your heart, now you're going to get what you really want for what you want. And so the Hierophant is a religious figure. If you're into religion, this would be someone at the top of the religion at the church, etc. This could be the Pope, the Cardinal, the Bishop, gurus, that type of energy, people you look up to in your religious part of your life, and that they are responsible for the spiritual justice being brought in. And then if you're more of a spiritual person, this could represent God himself, in that you don't have an intermediary. You connect with God through prayer and meditation. And then that energy is brought down to the planet, and it's talking about the legal systems, the court systems, that kind of energy, actual, judges and courts, etc., dealing with this justice and bringing justice in. And it is saying that this is a blessing in disguise for you, coming through from the external forces. So, and I do believe that maybe that it could have something to do with Pentacles, as well as possibly a situation in your romantic life. Now, yeah, the information is coming in, and you can see this night is very different from this night. This night, it's talking about someone is like, basically it can be panicking, a lot of anxiety. The information, like I have to get this information where it's going. This could be information because he could be either running towards someone with the information that the Hierophant has, or running towards someone because the Hierophant is here. The Hierophant is here. So if it was this type of energy where someone was juggling morals, that type of energy, it's like, oh, now they're going to find out, what was going on with the Pentacles, not just with this romantic life energy. And so this is representing the King of, or the Knight of Swords represents the information coming in. Like when you look, you can only see half his sword, and we can't see the point, and maybe he can't either. So this could be an energy of someone who doesn't have the full story, but they're coming in with the information they have because it has to get there as quickly as possible, at least what they do know. And there's a red flag on the back of his helmet. You notice here there's wings on the back of this knight's helmet. And so the energy, look how stressed out his horse is. He's pushing this horse to run as fast as it can against the wind through barren land. And so this is talking about, sometimes this energy can represent an investigation going on, like maybe the courts have started an investigation about some pentacle energy here. And he's running to whoever needs to know this. The Hierophant has discovered what's been going on here with this tower. So this is the way towers quite often are. If there's been something happening in the background, the tower is uncomfortable for everyone. But quite often people who have been like on their path and like on the right side of the law are like, whoa, that was so hard. But at least it was like, when I look back now, a year later, and everything's calmed down, that was the best possible thing that could have happened to me. Because otherwise, it could have been so much worse. And for the people that are maybe not on the right side of the law, it's a disaster because it's their worst fears. This can represent an investigation happening by the courts, that kind of energy. And it can sometimes even represent a private eye coming in with information about what else was going on behind the scenes. Maybe the Emperor said, hire a private eye and look into this. I think your partner's cheating on you, and I think it has more than just to do with your romantic life, but also with Page of Pentacles. And with the energy right now, on April 25th, we had Uranus just moved into the sign of Gemini, and it's kind of interesting because The Gemini, the last time Uranus was in Gemini was 1941 to 1949. And that was like around World War II, like in the aftermath of that. And we're kind of sitting in similar energy right now, and a lot of truths coming out. Bottom line, you can go to my astrological readings if you want. I do them for each sign to find out more about that energy, because there's so much to it. But bottom line is, when Uranus moves into Gemini, the truth comes out. And we're going to be in this energy for the next 7 to 8 years until year 2033. Yes, 2033. So this is like, you know, if you're not wanting the truth to come out, the chances are it's going to come out. And, you know, every day we see another truth, like where people are having to face the facts of what they've been doing, and maybe it's something they've been getting away with for a very long time, and even maybe generationally getting away with, but all of a sudden it gets caught up. We're seeing that a lot right now in the news. So we have the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands energy, I feel that this is saying the Queen of Wands energy is representing someone who people consider her to be sexy, and she's a natural beauty. She's holding the sunflower in her left hand here because she does what makes her happy. The sun makes her happy. It's this energy. She's on her divine path. This represents this banner in the background is kind of like this banner here. Representing the spiritual realm and how thin the veil is between the spiritual realm and the physical, and how she uses her intuition and her logic to come to creative solutions. She's got this little black cat here, and she doesn't worry about it. You know, a black cat's going to bring me bad luck. She doesn't believe in that shift. She's like, hey, I can find a creative solution for it. I love my little black cat, and I don't care what color it is, that type of energy. And so this, I feel, is talking about you getting back to your happy self. And I think that might be what this energy is like this person is running to tell, like say, hey, she is back on point, and the information of what was done in the background is all out, and I guess this is going to be a reality check for possibly your partner, your spouse, whatever, not just that they were cheating, that kind of energy, but also the details basically of what it was and why some pentacles were being juggled here, possibly morals as well. Well, clearly morals as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the reading up to this point. If this is like you're good, I have the information I need. I'll just tell you a little bit here about, and there's one more factor coming in here. I mean, we do have the full moon coming up like in a couple days, so you might be feeling that energy pretty strongly. It's this moon is in the sign of Scorpio. And that is about transformation, transition. And that's where the Wheel of Fortune is sitting in that house. So this energy coming in is, don't be surprised if there's some sort of event that happens globally that makes a big change for a lot of people. And also maybe in your own life that something, comes together for you or falls apart, depending on which side of this tower you're on. Also, because of that energy with Uranus in Gemini, and also when you think about on May 6th, Pluto is going retrograde into Aquarius, and this can cause people to feel a little bit confused, and it kind of magnifies the problems in your life, which the reality check that energy, so that not Mercury, I'm sorry, Pluto is going retrograde and move into Aquarius, and that's on the 6th, and it will be until mid-October. So this energy, that time frame could be significant for you in some way, and it's a good time to do a lot of research and really find out what happened. Hire a private eye if you need to, I guess. But this is talking about doing your research and then being in a position where you're ready for whatever happens. Like you have the information you need. So if you need to move forward or make a change, that you're able to do so. That's basically, there's not a whole lot of astrological influences other than that. Thank goodness, because we've had enough as it is. And I'm going to clarify this for those of you who want further clarification. If you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading and have benefit from it. Give it a like and comment if you have, please. It helps me build my channel. And consider subscribing. You're more than welcome. Now, for those of you who want further clarity, I'm going to use my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, TAILS. And I started this in 2007. And completed the 64th painting in 2020. I've been working on this, to now bring it out. And, you need to put a booklet with the deck. So the cards that I'm putting out here are representing, on my website, I have a gallery with all 64 paintings, and those paintings, these are how they're numbered. I will put in the description box below the numbers of the that show up here in the order they do, and the information for my website is there, so you can check it out if you want to. It might give you further clarity. They say a picture paints 1,000 words. So yeah, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of me in my oracle here. The vertical cards represent the maestros, and we have only one. The horizontal cards represent the medicine or the problem that needs to be solved kind of energy. So we have a lot of maestros out here with a lot to say. So let's see. Yes, the Tower is coming, and it's regarding all this work that you've put into. This card sometimes can represent someone illegally making money. Like literally, like they're pounding out the coins. So counterfeit, white collar crime, money laundering, pushing paper kind of energy, fraud, identity theft, that type of energy. And so the Tower hits, and this is what it's like. This could have been, because we have the Lover card here, this could have been about your love, but then you find out when this Pentacle energy comes in, oh my gosh, it was also that they were literally making money illegally, and now that's in the court system, and that's what they're like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't find out about that part of it. And yes, of course, the truth always comes out eventually. And so this is this energy is like, I feel like your intuition, whenever there's a Tower, it's saying your intuition, was trying to tell you something. The Tower hits after you don't, hear the whisper or the frying pan or the 2x4. It just has to, the universe gets louder and louder and louder until you have no choice but to deal with it. So this is degrading to your energy, and you may have been really feeling the exhaustion, but a lot of the time, the reason that we can't see it, I've figured it out, is love is blind. Totally. So you just couldn't see that your partner would ever do something like that. And so, it's kind of like, when this energy comes in, you might feel really embarrassed and ashamed that you didn't see it sooner, but you're not the first one that's been in that position that didn't see something. And it's degrading to your energy, but the shame belongs to the people involved that were behind the scenes doing this, as well as you, of course. It's your responsibility. If it's your business, it's your relationship. At the same time, a lot of times, if you didn't do anything wrong, and you didn't know about it, but you had a bad feeling in your gut kind of energy. Now, the falling star energy is a matter of, this is talking about your individual heart chakra. So basically this is saying, falling and failing in love is a matter of I. You have to sometimes, you just have to put yourself first and do what you need to do and then get after this energy, to be able to have love in your life again and to be happy, you're going to have to heal your heart, to be able to move forward and have what you really deserve in life. The Hierophant energy is just reinforcing, and this is on this juggling of morals, juggling of pentacles. So definitely there was some sort of energy there, as well as the cheating. There's, you know, I feel that the Emperor, and I'm glad to see this card on the Emperor. We've had a little bit of energy where there's been Emperor energy where there's someone that's in a authoritative, a high power position that's been abusing their power, and it keeps coming up in the readings as an emperor. But this one is saying that the Emperor puts you on a foolhardy journey. So that's talking about anticipating your future, because you are on your destined path, and that's being confirmed by God here. This is having the courage to be able to do what you need to do to be in a leadership role. And by doing that inner work to discipline your mind and say, look, you work for me, I don't work for you. Start making this easier. Be quiet for a little while. I want to listen to my intuition. I want to feel what's in my heart. What does my heart have to say about this? Stella, did you whack? Stop it. What's up? Okay. You knocked the camera again. That's what happened. Are you okay? All right. That's a good girl. Yeah, sit and purr. Sorry, my cat's being a pain because she wants me to feed her. I forgot to put some food out for her. So the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor, and here we have it here. So the Sun is saying, don't worry, judgment is being called on the spiritual. Oh, yeah, I love you too, Stella. She's sweet. She just wants to be fed. All right. And so we have the Lovers coming in here. So this is saying that at some point there's going to be a lover that actually comes into your life that, you know, that you adore and they adore you. And that's destined for your future. So at this time, I would say focus on, you know, if there's legalities or whatever you have to go through, focus on getting that information together, making sure that you, so that, like, this is talking about justice coming through. And, you know, the thing is with justice is it quite often is redemption from karma, or karma being distributed at the same time. So generally that, you know, a lot of times people think karma is punishment, but karma is actually cause and effect for your actions or inactions. So if you're still associated with someone and they get hit by karma, you're going to end up having to deal with that karma as well. And I feel like there is a little bit of that here, because if this was your spouse, and like the Tower hits, but so this is why it's important now to gather the information together, showing, you know, your paperwork, so that you have all the facts together and you can prove to the courts, like, I wasn't involved in this, I'm just as shocked as everybody else type of energy. And that's when you may find out that not all of the people around you are shocked. There was more than just this one person involved. That's the kind of energy. And we have, this is about having a good attitude when there's a Tower hitting. Towers are not comfortable for anyone, and quite often they reveal truths that you would rather have not heard, but you have to deal with it. And, you know, an attitude, having a good attitude about it can go a long way, because if you do like, okay, now I need to do this inner work, I need to get all the facts together for the legal courts, etc. I need to work through this. Then the Wheel of Fortune turns in your favor. And this is about using your insight and listening to your intuition when it comes to regarding that. There's some father figure energy here coming in. So this is about turning princes into frogs. So it could be kind of an energy where you might be a father, and this could be someone like your spouse trying to make you look bad, or it could be vice versa, like that the father of your children was trying to make you look bad, like putting the blame, and this is shame off you. So this is talking about having that discipline of the mind. You know, you may have thought in this relationship it was everything that you ever wished for, and you're really shocked by it. But when you look back on it, you'll probably notice, hey, there were signs here. And then we have this Emperor energy sitting on the Hierophant. So quite often, The energy of the Emperor does represent the Hierophant energy. So it could be that this is saying that when you went for advice to this person and asked them, okay, what do I need to do here, that they gave you good advice, and maybe they might even be the person that looked into it, investigated it, and the tower hit for these people. This is strength. I'm glad to see that because the Emperor energy is someone you look up to. It's mentors, people that if you run out of, there's not that many emperors around. So if you can't rely on the Emperor, who do you go to past then, other than God, of course, is the final judge on the situation. But having said that, in legal systems, if this is representing someone who has a lot of authority there, and they're not on straight up, who do you go to in the legal system after that? If you go to the police and they don't do anything, and then you go to, your politicians and they don't do anything, and then, where do you go from there after that energy? And then look at this, it says the Empress. Maybe, and remember, the Empress and the Emperor, any of the figures can be female or male in this feminine energy or in this masculine energy. So just, keep that in mind. This energy, the Empress and the Emperor, maybe this is saying on top of it, when you go to this person, they happen to be single and now you're single. And that's maybe the lover that comes in and your life gets better. That could be. And then you're back to your natural happy self here. That type of energy. And it's also saying that because of everything you've been through, now you're at the Empress energy. That's how you become an Emperor and Empress, going through life, shift like this. That if you didn't go through this, you wouldn't have the knowledge that you have to be able to be an Empress or an Emperor. It's life, basically. So this is a really good reading for you, Cancer. There's some elements here that are challenging. All of the readings have been like this so far. This is the fourth one I've done for the beginning of May. And it's saying there's a lot of love. There's a lot of good energy, and there's also a lot of information about needing to take a good look at where you are right now and not sugarcoating things, and taking the steps of action that you need to take to be able to straighten your life out and get exactly where you want to go. I do hope you've enjoyed this. Give it a like and comment. If you have, I would really appreciate that. It helps me build my channel. Consider subscribing if you resonate, and I'll be back with another reading for you soon. Bye for now. Okay, Stella. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. You're finally being good, and now I'm waking you up. Yeah.